another episode of Dope Chats with Stretch. I am Stretch, yours truly, your 6'6" phenomenon. Thank you for hanging out with me tonight. Here we go. Which member of Migos did not have a verse on their song Bad and Bougie?
No idea.
Come on.
I have no idea. I know the Migos had a song called Tasty. Stir Fry.
What up, everybody, and welcome. Happy Wednesday to you. It's Hump Day. Yours truly, Stretch, your 6'6" phenomenon, coming at you live with another dope edition of Dope Chats with Stretch. And man, every time I look at that intro, I just a little thug tear rolls down my eye because I'm missing my hair, but it's all good. I'll grow it back. Just for you, ladies. Just for you. No, I'm just kidding. It is Wednesday, and it is a dope day, especially because it's a monumental day in hip-hop because it is Tupac Shakur's 50th birthday, and this is what you call a CD, kids. It's a CD. This is Tupac's very first CD, strictly for my, N-word. But, man, gone but not forgotten. Truly, truly miss Tupac, one of the dopest poets / MCs that ever did it. So happy birthday, Pac. May you rest in peace. All right. So now it is time for me to bring to the stage. Let me get everything situated, man, because my guest tonight is someone who is super dope in the aspect of just helping you get over yourself. You know what I'm saying? Your fears, all the things that we tend to do as individuals where we say, I can't, I wish, I coulda, shoulda, dulda. She's here to help you because she wrote a book about it. Her name is Keisha King, and she is the author of Fear, Face Everything and Recover, the 30-day reset to unlocking your full potential. So everybody stand up and show your love for Miss Keisha King. Oh, what is good with you? How you feel?
Feeling good. Feeling great.
So you from Chicago. So what up, though?
What up, Joe?
Yeah, that's Chicago. No,
that's Chicago.
Is it Chicago? Okay, cool. Because my man JR Bang is from Chicago, so I want to make sure I get the lingo right. How you feel?
Feeling good. I just finished a 10-mile bike ride, so I'm still catching my breath.
Oh, word? Now, were you on the actual bike itself, or were you doing on the Peloton joint?
No, I was outside. That's why I got an uneven tan right now.
That's all good. Are you preparing for something? That's just
preparing to help relieve stress. That's it.
Okay. Got you. That's all right. So how was the ride?
It's good. I just love it's a feeling of freedom that if you don't ride, I feel like you don't get to experience, but it's very good for clearing your mind.
Got you. I have a lot of friends who are bike riders, and a lot of my fraternity brothers. We have a bike riding group within our chapter, and I kept, at the beginning of the pandemic, I was like, oh, I'm gonna get me a bike, but of course, bikes were the first thing to go.
They were.
Toilet paper and cleaning supplies. Everybody went and bought all the bikes. So I've yet to get one, but that's something I definitely want to do. So do you do the one with you clip your feet into the, okay, all right.
No, let me tell you, my bike is what I rode when I was 15, 16 years old. And my parents were like, we need to clean this out. So we're going to give you a bike. And I was like, well, I don't have one. So it is definitely not a fancy bike at all.
Well, hey, it gets the job done. It definitely
does.
Yeah, I definitely got to get into that because I do want a bike and just ride. But then I realized, too, that I don't have an ass. So when you ride on bikes and you ain't got no ass.
Well, you know what? They have these seats that are wide, extra wide and extra cushiony. So if you want to do that. And I didn't realize until after, probably like months into riding, that they have shorts that have a little padding and a little cushion back there for you, too.
Okay. All right, bike people. You know what I'm saying? I can dig it. Looking out for those who are assless. So let's get into it, man. You are the author of this wonderful book. What prompted you to, well, first and foremost, what prompted the title, and then what prompted the idea of you to come up with this self-help book?
Yeah, so I was I say 2018, there was just a lot of transition. So I had worked in corporate America for over 11 years. I was the last role I had, I was a marketing manager over like 7 exclusive brands at a Fortune 500 company. And it was great. I enjoyed the experience, but it was just almost every other year we were going through a reorganization. And I
Right.
was finding myself having to, decide, okay, am I going to take this role that they have available? But then sometimes the roles didn't really align with what I wanted to do. But on the side, I did have a side hustle, a side business called Chop Chop, a mobile salon and barbershop. And I was, doing it at the same time. And I had gotten to a point where I was like, if I do this full time, I think, I could really do something with this. So in 2018, we went through another reorg and I decided to take the package and not, continue with the company. And just that period of, not collecting a check. This was the first time I never worked for a company where I'm getting paid every 2 weeks, having all this free time, just a lot of life changes were going on. And I was like, I need to start documenting this stuff because, from a mental standpoint, it was kind of messing with me because for a long time I had tied my value to a paycheck, and so now I'm not receiving a paycheck and I was starting to feel, not as valuable. And so with that, a lot of fears, a lot of anxiety, a lot of self-confidence issues, I feel like started to, arise. So that's when I just started jotting down stuff. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna write a book. But it took time. It took like 2 years before this thing came out.
Yeah, it definitely takes time. I can attest to that. You know what I mean? Because I think we talked about it briefly just on Instant Messenger regarding like the time that.
Right.
Yeah. So let's before we get into the book, let's talk about your business venture as an entrepreneur with the Chop Chop Mobile. Like, what prompted you to start that?
It was the same situation with these reorgs, but it was just about 4 years earlier. So, but this time I was pregnant with my second child, and they had eliminated my position. And I was like, this is crazy, and so I applied for another role. I got it. And then I went on maternity leave. And when I went on maternity leave, I was just like, I don't ever want to be in that situation again where, I'm so reliant on a company for insurance and a paycheck and all this kind of stuff. So I had dabbled and dabbled in entrepreneurship before, but I wanted to do something that had more meaning, like where I could mix my passion and my purpose. Right. And I've always felt like my passion is connecting people, my purpose is connecting people. And then when my passion was on the hair care side. And so I had like a lot of family members who were beauticians and own their own hair salon and things of that nature. So, but I wanted to find a way for it to be mobile because I didn't want it to be, your typical beauty salon where you have people of certain races in that beauty salon. I wanted it to be able to be like a platform where people can get to know each other and talk. So I felt like in order for it to really be diverse, it needed to be mobile.
Right.
And so from there, I was like, well, how can I make a salon mobile? And I just started thinking about food trucks and mobile oil change services and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I'm gonna get a trailer and I'm gonna deck it out and we're gonna go around to business offices because I felt like business offices are a good place, for diversity.
Right.
And so I geared it toward being like a wellness benefit for companies. So we would take the trailer to their, headquarters, their business office, and employees can schedule appointments and come down and get on a trailer.
Yo, that's a dope idea. That is that's dope. So, are you still functioning with Chop Chop Mobile?
Yeah, but definitely in a different capacity. So, with the pandemic, a lot of people started working from home. Right. And so it was like, okay, what you gonna do now? So I actually started renting or leasing the trailer out to different movies and entertainment companies. Like right now, the trailer is with the Chicago Lyric Opera because they started doing shows in the park. And so this is a great way to get their actors, hair and makeup ready while they're outside performing.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Have you rented it to Chicago PD yet?
No.
That's a good show. I'm sorry. I like Chicago PD. That's a good show. You watch
No.
Chicago PD? All
I
right.
plead the fifth.
Okay. All right. That's all
I
good.
plead the fifth.
That's what's up, though. But let's talk specifically about the book in regards to, with the pandemic. How do you think the pandemic has altered, our mindsets, especially being, well, of course, confined to your home for a year and a half?
Yeah, for sure. I think it just gave a lot of people time to sit and really think about what they're doing with their life, where they're at in their life. Is it in the direction they want to go? I think it just created a lot of space for reevaluation. And with that, again, you start to recognize, areas of strengths, but then weaknesses, or, opportunities that you maybe passed up, or, just it's just a lot of time to think about where you're at. And I really wanted to get the book out during this time, because I was thinking this is the people need motivation. They need inspiration right now. People are dying. If you had, people losing jobs, just all losing money, just all these different scenarios. And I thought fear was very timely, right now.
And with that, some of the gems that you drop in your book, like the first thing, and that gets to my next question, facing our fears can really be gut wrenching. Do you think people are more inclined to live a life that is rather, live a lie that, rather than their being in their true authentic self?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I think that a lot of people want to be in a comfortable place, like, and you could be in a toxic relationship, but you still feel comfortable because you know what to expect. You know what I mean? And it's change that's scary. So I feel like, a lot of the reluctancy to pursue things that you should pursue is just the fear of change, and the fear of the unknown. And those are some of the ones that I really touch on in the book, because, you don't know what you don't know. And for some, it's really hard to take a leap of faith in order to pursue whatever it is that they need to pursue. And the things that we need to do are usually the things that we're most afraid to take that first step to do.
Yeah. Because I think a lot of times we do find ourselves living in a state of complacency. You know what I mean? Because if you like, you may be, I don't know, say for instance, you have a super dope job working for the government. You've been there for, 20 years. You're making a nice chunk of change, but that's not your passion.
Right.
But you're like, but the money. So you always, you have that inner turmoil or that battle within yourself to say, okay, can I do this and do my, my passion at the same time? Or can I just walk away from this and pursue my passion completely? Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And another good thing that I dig is, like, in the very beginning of your book, you hit people with a straight uppercut. You talk about excuses, you know what I mean? Excuses. And we all know that we make these excuses when it comes to our life. Excuses are the tools of the incompetent. That's
yes.
You know what I mean? So what is it I can't even read my damn handwriting. How can people, change their mindset in the sense of eliminating excuses and just focus on the task at hand?
Yeah. I think it's about managing your fear. It's really about managing your fear. Because when you don't manage it, you allow all these different thoughts to consume you with why you shouldn't do something, why it's not the right time, why, you don't have enough money to invest in yourself. And when you actually drill down to why you feel this way, to like the root, then you can start and also where does this stem from?
Right.
Where does your fear of investing in yourself come from? Maybe it was something that somebody told you over and over again, that you're not good enough, or that you'll never be anything. A lot of times it's about drilling down to, wait, why do I even have this fear? Why do I allow this fear to have so much power? Because that's where the excuses come into play. Because we have trained our brains to think that these excuses are valid reasons as to why we can't do certain things.
Right.
So it's like, until you back it up and realize why you're feeling this way, why you have this fear, and start to what I call them are like ditch fear exercises. You start to do little, things on a little level to build your confidence up, to get to the place where you can face, the fear. Because I don't believe that you can overcome fear, because I always say fear is like an emotion, like sadness, happiness, it comes and goes.
Right.
So you can't really get over it, but you can learn how to work through it. And the way that you work through it is really addressing those excuses. So, that excuse about not having money. Well, okay, what's the solution? Because it could be a challenge that you need to overcome.
Right.
But it doesn't have to stop you from, facing your fear.
Right. And it's funny too, because you mentioned in something, I think a lot of times when it does come to fear, I think sometimes folks allow other folks, perceptions or fears that they hold get to them. You know what I mean? Because if you're, like, oh, I want to open up my own, bakery. And then, somebody in your family will be like, man, you can't open up no bakery. What do you know about baking? It's like, then you already have, it's already embedded in your head that from like, oh yeah, you're right. I don't know anything about baking. So why would I open up a bakery? Yeah. I mean, I think once we're able to overcome that hurdle in the sense of not letting other people's fear and quote unquote failures with themselves infiltrate our desires and passions, then you're on the right path. You'll be all right.
Yeah, and I think with those situations, you have to look at it as that person just has concerns,
right.
Which is fine. But that doesn't mean it has to deter you. That person, the other thing is, if they haven't done it, if they haven't gone through it, if they haven't tried it, why do we give them so much power to deter us from doing something?
Exactly.
Because my parents are my biggest supporters when it comes to my business. But when I first told them about it, my dad was like, just, you have a great job, be a mother, like, why are you trying to do this? Like, this is going to be really tough. And then he was watching, I think it was T.I. and Tiny, or that, whatever show that was. And the best friend had like a mobile hair truck. And when he saw it, he called me like, Keisha, did you see that show? She had a truck too. It's when people haven't seen it be done, they're going to give you those type of opinions. But,
right.
What we have to do is we have to empower ourselves enough, or just, have, take comments with like discretion, and I just look at it as my parents were just looking out for me. They just care about me. They don't want to see me go through hardships and that kind of stuff. But right. I knew that I was willing to take the risk to see if this could be something greater than even I envisioned.
Right. Because the adage goes, without risk, there's no reward. So
right.
You still have to put your best foot forward and get into something and do something, whether or not it works in the way that you want it to work, or you learn lessons off of it. In which kind of brings me back to my next question. Also in your book, you talk about failures, so I always say that, there's no such thing as failure, just more of a person who, how did I say it? I can't even read my own handwriting again. There's no such thing as failure. It's just a situation where you did not try. You know what I'm saying? Because if you try, you didn't fail. You tried it. You know what I mean? Because failure is if you don't even put your best foot forward, because at least
Exactly.
you can learn something from the experience or whatever the case may be. Talk about like, the mindset of folks when it comes to failing.
Mm-hmm. Well, the word fail, I saw it somewhere, but it means first attempt in learning.
Mm.
So
Put
that's
it on
how
a
I look.
t-shirt. Put it on a t-shirt.
Yes. Although it wasn't mine, but it's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, your first attempt in learning. And as long as if you fail, you learn from it.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, how else do you get from point A to point B? You have to try. And then most of the time we don't necessarily get it right the first time, especially if we're not doing it, if it's something new to us.
Right.
And it really took me I applied for an incubator. And that's just, where if you have a business idea, you can go to, these establishments or organizations that help you really build on the idea and test the idea. And it's something, unfortunately, a lot of minority business owners, I don't think we get a lot of exposure to those type of things. But they're really helpful because they really put things in perspective, and their whole thing is about failing. They're like, okay, and it's not really failing. They call it testing.
Okay.
When you first launch your business, there's a lot of assumptions that you have about who's going to buy your product. How much would they buy it for? How am I going to market it? But until you launch it, you don't know the answers to any of those questions. You don't know if your assumptions are accurate, right? So your first 1 to 3 years, depending on what you're doing or your product or service, you're just testing your assumptions to see if it's right or not. And then if it's right, you keep going, and then you put more money into it and you can take off. If your assumptions were wrong, you got to try something new, try something different. So it's all about perception,
Yeah. Nah, that's true. That is so true. Man, you're all checked into Dope Chats with Stretch. My guest tonight is Keisha King. She is the author of Fear, Face Everything and Recover, the 30-day reset to unlocking your full potential. Outside of the, within the book, what are some of the main things that you want people to grasp in regards to really focusing on within that 30 days that you have set out for unlocking your full potential?
I think it's the awareness piece. It is because once you're aware of the things you fear, that's the part too. Like, part of why I wrote the book was because I would have a lot of individuals come to me and say, oh, I want to start a business. I got a business idea. Can you help me with a business plan? Can you do some business coaching with me, or things of that nature? And I'm game. I love to help, people, and, help them learn from my mistakes. But what I realized is when I would talk to individuals and then I would never hear from them again. We have an hour conversation about a business idea they had, never hear from them again. And what I realized is, for a lot of people, it's not about just the business idea. It's about push and start, or, getting started and launching. And a lot of the hesitation is because of at least one of those 30 fears that I have in the book. So if it's about money and you're afraid to, spend a good amount of your money to, buy the product or make the widget, or, whatever it is, or it could be you just are afraid of commitment. Like, you're like, I don't know that I can see this through, or, there's just all these different things. And so one of the main reasons I wrote it is because I think before people spend, money on launching a business, getting a business coach or anything like that, they need to first work on them, and they need to be aware of all the different obstacles that they're going to face, but feel like they have the tools to get through them, to push through them. So I use a lot of my story about everything from personal, like being a young mother, to, not getting the job that, I had an internship and not landing the job out of that internship, just business opportunities, all kinds of things that I've gone through and faced disappointments or had to work through, just to give people an idea, like through my lens, here are different scenarios where I had to face these fears, and how you can make it through. Like, no matter what, you're gonna make it through. It's just a matter of, are you willing to put forth the effort?
Right.
Yeah.
Are you big into like journaling and things of that nature, like writing down? Well, journaling, but are you big into that, or is that something that you just kind of like, yeah?
No, I mean, I am, like, I write a lot of stuff down. There's I don't really have a process, like a good process, but I probably have about 4 or 5 actual like notebooks where I'm jotting down ideas and things of that nature. Yeah.
Right. Because I'm like, as a friend of mine, he had put me down with this kind of like a life planner, more or less, right? It's like a 90-day planner. It's called Goal Crazy, right? But it allows you, which I dig about it, because it makes you your own accountability partner, right? Because you're putting everything down, but it also forces you to peel back the layers that you're trying to cover up and make yourself vulnerable to say, oh shit, I got a lot of stuff I need to work on. I need to be focused, yada, yada, yada. And like, I've been doing that, and it's so dope, because not only from the standpoint of like how you like, you kind of like setting up like a regiment of your day to day, but the affirmation parts, that's in there, because it makes you or forces you to sit down and be grateful for, whatever it is that you're grateful for. You know what I mean? So, a lot of times people will be like, oh, why are you grateful that your business didn't, pan out the way that it did? Because, well, I had an idea, or, you had an idea, whomever. It may not have panned out, but you tried it. So you're grateful for the experience, right? So yeah, it's dope. And I think, during this time that we're kind of coming back into the real world, you're starting to see a lot of people who had ideas and, visions or aspirations, especially during the pandemic, that are really putting their best foot forward to get those things done. Because, I think it's one thing that we learned through this last year and a half, tomorrow isn't guaranteed.
Yeah.
So you got to do what you need to do while you can do it. And even if it doesn't come to the, full grandiose sort of, outcome that you wanted, at least you attempted to do it.
Yeah. And I agree. I think writing things down is so powerful. And I don't think enough people realize it, because, I say, oh, did you write a business plan? And people look at me crazy, like it's real old school. But it's the fact that when you write something down, it forces you to like go back and reference, what were my dreams? What were my aspirations? What did I say I was going to do? And then, to your point about holding yourself accountable, that's why in my book I have these ditch fear exercises after each chapter. So I give an exercise that can help you with just some kind of step or activity to do to help you start to learn how to work through that particular fear. And I created a workbook. I'm going to launch it, but so that it's actually like gives you space to write out everything and think. And I think it's just really, it's really important to see things written down on paper.
Yeah. Because once you can see it, then you can visualize it. Like, that's why I really kind of like dig on the whole aspect of vision boards. You know what I mean? Because I was a real like, man, I ain't got time to be cutting out no stuff out no magazine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But then I was like, yo, okay, I see how it manifests itself. But you really have to also the time that you take to put out or cut things out of magazines or print stuff off and put it on that cork board. You really kind of have to really take the time to sit and look at it.
Yes.
See yourself in those things, because it's all about manifestation. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, a lot of people don't, they man, it's crazy, because we live in I think now we're living in, especially with the the onslaught of social media where everyone they get caught up because they see, so and so, walking around with a Birkin bag, or they got this, that, and another. A lot of these stuff is not, it's people flossing, but fake flossing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, don't get caught up on what the Joneses are doing. Worry about what you're doing. So therefore, if you so choose to floss on social media,
yeah. And the other aspect to that too is we don't know how long this person has been working on their plan, and we're seeing it manifest. Right. But we don't know all the work they put into it, because one of the things I've always wanted to do is be really transparent about my journey, because I didn't want people to think, once I make it or once my company blows up, oh, she did this overnight. No, years of doing this, but no one knows. Like, if in my room right now, I got big oversized Post-it notes with stuff written down, with goals, with all kinds of stuff surrounding me, so I see it every day, and no, that's the part that people don't see. So they see the end result, but like you said, in order to manifest it, I think most people who are able to get to that level definitely had a plan. Now, whether the plan went exactly the way that they outlined it, that's a whole different thing, but because I had the same scenario where I wrote like a 70-page business plan, and I followed that thing to a T. And that got me to the point of, finding a manufacturer for my trailer. But I got to a point where I couldn't find an investor. Like, I needed almost $100,000 for this trailer. And I'm like, I don't know where I'm getting this from, but I knew I had written it down. I knew I needed, $100,000. But I also put, okay, if I can't get $100,000, what kind of trailer can I get for, $50,000? And who is that manufacturer? What can I get for like $20,000, in case it didn't work? And it was funny because I got to the point where I almost landed an investor, but it didn't work out. And I was like, dang, where am I at? What am I going to do? And I went back to my business plan. I'm like, girl, you got a plan B with your trailer. This thing is $50,000, and you can use your profit share from your company. You can use some credit cards and you can get that thing. But it took me going back to my business plan and seeing that written out and just reminding me that you have other ways to get there. So it is really important.
That's dope, man. That's gems right there. I rock with you, Keisha King. You all right with me? You know what I'm saying? Chi-Town's finest. So look, this is the part of the show that I like to bring forth. One of my favorite parts. It's a game I like to play. Okay. It is called Questions from the Hat. Questions from the Hat. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
All right.
And a little nervous.
No, it's all good. I have a couple questions in here across the gambit. So, I have not seen these questions. So
I saw the questions you asked in the intro, and I was like, oh, snap.
It's all good. All right, here we go. Let's start this thing off. Oh, man. Which male old school artist would you bring back? Luther Vandross, Marvin Gaye, MJ, or Prince?
Michael Jackson.
What's your love for Michael Jackson?
The dancing. I'm a dancing girl.
Oh, you can dance?
Yes. If I could go back, I would have focused on that part.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Never too late. You can always, you know what I'm saying?
It's not.
Get up there, do the Y2C, whatever you want to do, girl. Make it happen. There you go.
Don't judge me on those skills.
Yeah, no, it's all good. All good. What advice would you give someone who wants to start their own business?
Ooh, okay. My advice would be to get a team before you get too far into the journey. So you can come up with the idea, but then pitch the idea to individuals that you would like to bring onto your team. Because I have been a solopreneur in 2 instances, and it's really hard. And
Trust, I know.
Yes. And you're limited. If
Mm.
you look at any major company, they don't just have one person working in the company. You got to have, you need a team. And I'm so far into my business that now it's a little bit harder to do that.
Mhm.
But I would say if you can, at least a co-founder. 2 heads are better than 1. 4 hands are better than 2. You know what I mean? It's just get a team.
Yeah, no doubt. Uh-oh. Here we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
Should your friends have an opinion on who you date?
Yes-ish.
Yeah, I mean, is it to a certain extent?
To a certain extent.
Okay.
Because oftentimes I think friends can see things that you can't. And so you should want, yes. And if they're really your friends, they are looking out for you.
Right.
But you also don't, you want to take it with, a grain of salt,
Yeah, I can dig it. I can dig it. All right. What's your favorite word? And don't be like too short.
Literally the first thing that came to mind was empower.
Okay. That's what's up.
Yeah.
I can dig it. I can dig it. All right. Oh, it's an easy question. Who was one of the first self-made female millionaires in the USA? Oprah, Aretha, Ella, or Madam C.J. Walker?
I think it was Madam C.J. Walker.
There you go. There you go.
I know my hair care. Come on.
You know it. You know what I'm saying? Kanye or Michael Jordan? That's a Chicago question.
Michael Jordan.
Okay. You better say Michael Jordan.
Nah. Kanye, I rocked with Kanye, early Kanye, college dropout Kanye, but now I don't know.
It is what it is. You feel me? Oh, here we go. Good one. Is love overrated?
I will say yes, because I don't think people know the definition of love.
What's your definition?
I don't think I even have one. That's why I said it's overrated. You know why? Because I think people are always striving for something that they never really get. And so it's like you make it what you want it to be. I don't think there's any definition of it.
Right. It's whatever you want it to be, however you want it to rock out. I can dig that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, you did a good job on questions from the hat. I told you nothing to be scared about. Nothing to be scared
I was nervous.
It's all good. Hey, but thank you once again for taking time out to do this with me. I know we've been, trying to lock this thing down, and we were able to make it happen.
Thanks for having me. This was fun. Absolutely. I appreciate it. I feel special to be amongst the many that you've interviewed. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
The pleasure's all mine. It's all mine. Once again, everybody, thank you for tuning in. This is Dope Chats with Stretch. Of course, my guest tonight is Keisha King. She is the author of Fear. Let me try to get it right. There it is. Fear. Face everything and recover. The 30-day reset to unlocking your full potential, which is available everywhere books are sold. The platform is yours right now. Keisha, tell everybody about the book, where they can follow you, yada, 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 yada.
Yes, so you can get it on Amazon very
I
easily. also have it in Spanish. It's called Miedo in Spanish. Yes, that was.
See.
We trying to be global.
Try again.
Let's see. Are you hearing the feedback?
No, what happened was I said "see" in Spanish, and Siri thought I was talking to her.
Oh, see, you gotta turn Siri off sometimes.
She be wilding.
Yeah, so I'm on, I see it on here, on IG at Keisha King. If you want to personalize or sign copy, you can just DM me and I'll do that for you and send it to you. But yeah, my website for Chop Chop is chopchopmobile.com. If you're interested in having us come to your business or wedding or any type of event, we do that as well. And on IG, Chop Chop is Chop Chop Mobile on IG and Facebook.
There it is. There it is. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is tonight's show. Again, thank you going out to my guest, Keisha King, author, entrepreneur, just all around dope person from Chicago. You know what I'm saying? There it is. Doing big things. So be sure to follow her, like she said, and pick up her book, especially if you're going through something right now. You're looking for a reset. You're looking to manifest things that are going on in your life that you think that you just kind of hit a hurdle or you just don't know which way to turn. Pick up her book, follow the process, and let it do the work. And of course, most importantly, let you do the work. All right.
Yes.
There it is. There it is. Hold tight, Keisha. All right.
All right.
So if that does it for me, I am out of here. Thank you again for hanging out with me tonight. Once again, this has been Dope Chats with Stretch. We'll be back again next week with another dope edition of Dope Chats with Stretch. Until then, y'all be easy, be love, be one. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dope Chats. On Instagram at DopeSense76 Media. You can also follow me at Stretch G. And also, my book, Last Request, is available everywhere books are sold right now. Pick one up, or you can always go to my website at dopesense76.com. And like Keisha said, you buy from there, I will send you a signed copy. All right, dope. All right, until then, thank you. Have a wonderful night. We'll be back again next week. And yeah, that's it, man. Peace.